Trump is well prepared for the debate tomorrow night. That is right. He doesn't need traditional debate prep. He's proven to be one of the most effective debaters in modern political history. Just look at how he knocked off Joe Biden out of the race and the CNN debate stage. He is very well read on Kamala Harris's record.
He's never really prepared for a debate before, so the Trump camp figures, why should he prepare for this one? I mean, he's well read on Kamala Harris.
Since becoming a presidential candidate, she has refused to do a single interview. You know why? Because she's dumb. Or hold a single press conference. She won't hold a press conference. She won't do it. She won't do it. She doesn't want. And they're easy questions, you know, because the press, look at them back there. Look at all of them. A lot of press. They're rigged. They're rigged.
Extensive knowledge on display there. It seems like Trump's campaign spokesperson, Karoline Leavitt there, has to be more concerned with characterizing him as infallible than she is with explaining why his approach to the vice president is always, as he likes to say, nasty.
Why was Donald Trump, over the last 36 hours on his social media, reposting slogans from QAnon and reposting misogynistic, sexist content about Vice President Harris?
Well, look, I don't think your viewers at home are concerned about social media posts. I think they are concerned with the news of the day. And the news of the day is that a Venezuelan illegal immigrant crime gang has taken over a hotel in rural Colorado because of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's open border policies today than they were under Donald Trump. The news of the day as a new mother.
Do you know why he posted that? Do you know why he reposted that content?
I haven't been able to talk to President Trump yet this morning because he is calling into media interviews, unlike Kamala Harris, who has been avoiding the press for more than 40 days.
But I do want to ask you again, the social media content reposted by the Republican nominee in the last 36 hours, how do you explain it? How do you explain why he is reposting content from QAnon and this misogynistic content?
Again, I will say I have not spoken to President Trump about that content this morning, and I don't think Americans are concerned with social media posts. But you said misogynistic. I assume you're also going to say that the posts were demeaning to women. I think what's demeaning to women is what has been allowed to happen over the last 4 years.
And even though Trump's only approach to combating Harris's and Wont's campaign has been to attack her on her race, gender, and intelligence, I can't imagine that they haven't been coming up with a new strategy in anticipation of this first debate. They have to know the Democrats are counting on him to lose his cool and come after her. So it's probably the main aspect of their prep. But then again, he hasn't listened to allies warning him against it so far.
Why do you think Kamala Harris has a 14-point lead in the gender gap among women?
I think it's because Donald Trump and J.D. Vance need to change the way they speak about women. You don't need to call Kamala dumb. She didn't get this far, just by accident. She's here. That's what it is. She's a prosecutor. You don't need to go and talk about intelligence or looks or anything else. Just focus on the policies. When you call even a Democrat woman dumb, Republican women get their backs up, too.
I want this campaign to win. But the campaign is not going to win talking about crowd sizes. It's not going to win talking about what race Kamala Harris is. It's not going to win talking about whether she's dumb. It's not. You can't win on those things. The American people are smart. Treat them like they're smart.
And even though complaining about ABC News and how unfair it is that they won't just let him lie without pushback is his second stage of this plan, Fox News has been trying to tell him to back off for his own good, too.
Look, this is anecdotal, but I've been hearing a lot from women. They are not happy with what Trump has been saying and some of the language that he's using about Kamala Harris. It's insulting. Should he tone down his language?
I think what we should do is let's look at the message. Are we trying to get our country back on course? Are we trying to stop what's going on at the border? Are we trying to stop the raping and the killing of Americans across the country? Are we tired?
But hold on a second,
Congressman.
I mean, I've been out and about over the weekend. And when Donald Trump called Kamala Harris dumb, that was a profound mistake, in my opinion. Women react to that kind of thing, and so they should. I mean, don't you think he should tone down the language?
The attacks on her personally, on whatever her past personally may have been, or calling her a childless lady, none of those are going to work, and they're going to make women second-guess their support for what they may have felt for Donald Trump. Bad move. Don't call women dumb. It just doesn't work. On Republican women or liberal women, it just doesn't work. There are much better ways to attack Kamala.
We saw the former president lie his way through the debate with President Biden. who couldn't come up with enough sentences to dispute them. So I don't know if taking that approach will work, unless Harris's weakness is that she struggles at dismantling his made-up accomplishments. The pressure really is on her more than it is on Trump, because virtually no one expects him to perform well. People only wonder if he can clear the low bar of not calling her names. She's tasked with communicating her policies, some of which have shifted in a conflict with a decent number of Democratic voters, while also recognizing and dispelling his wild declarations. It's actually a heavy lift.
As far as contrast, a contrast can't be more clear. It couldn't be more clear. If you think about 4 years ago, America was reeling. It was reeling. In a once-in-a-generation pandemic, it was isolated from the world stage. Crime was up. The middle class was sidelined. We saw an insurrection on January 6th in 2021 that the former president led. And you think about today, where we are today, 3.5 years later, we're leading the strongest economy in the world. You hear the comeback stories in places like Milwaukee, to Dayton, to Scranton, Pennsylvania. And so we have done what people said we couldn't do, which is turn the economy around, turn the country around, be a leader on the world stage. And I think it's important for Americans to know and to be reminded where we were and where we are.
All of that is worthy of being discussed and compared. But when anyone debates Trump, they have to avoid reeling off accomplishments in a way that goes in one ear and out of the other of many voters. Trump's extremism in his policies and performance changes the energy and tone necessary to be effective. It's actually sad that his strength is in his destructive energy and that few people hold him responsible for it. And with these microphones set to remain muted when a candidate isn't answering a question, the Harris camp won't be able to capitalize off of moments like this.
From everything I see, has no respect for this person.
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit that the Russians have engaged in cyber attacks against the United States of America, that you encouraged espionage against our people, that you are willing to spout the Putin line, sign up for his wish list, break up NATO, do whatever he wants to do, and that you continue to get help from him because he has a very clear favorite.
Their lives have been destroyed for doing 1/5 of what you've done, and it's a disgrace. And honestly, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Secretary Clinton, I want to follow up on that. I'm going to let you talk about emails.
Because everything he just said is absolutely false, but I'm not surprised. Really? In the first debate, it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.